Imagine a vibrant young woman, full of life, with dreams of a bright future, riding her bike on a quiet country road. In an instant, she vanishes, leaving behind a community in shock and a family desperate for answers. This is the chilling true story of Sierah Joughin, a case that exposes the darkness lurking in the most unexpected places. What happened to Sierah? And how did a predator evade justice for decades before striking again? Stay with us as we unravel this heartbreaking mystery. How could a seemingly ordinary man hide a sinister past for so long? What critical evidence finally brought a killer to justice? Could Sierah's tragic fate have been prevented? In the summer of 2016, the small, close-knit community of Fulton County, Ohio, was rocked by a tragedy that would leave an indelible mark. Sierah Joughin, a 20-year-old University of Toledo student, was abducted while riding her bike on a rural road near her home on July 19, 2016. What began as a routine evening turned into a nightmare when Sierah failed to return home. Her disappearance sparked a frantic search, and within days, the discovery of her body in a shallow grave revealed the horrifying truth. A predator had been living among them. The investigation led to James Worley, a man with a chilling criminal history, whose actions would expose a pattern of violence and a failure of the justice system to stop him sooner. This is the disturbing case of Sierah Joughin, a story of loss, justice, and a legacy that continues to save lives. Sierah Joughin was the embodiment of warmth and promise. A 20-year-old junior at the University of Toledo, she was studying business and had a bright future ahead. Known for her infectious smile, quick wit, and kind heart, Sierah was a beloved daughter, sister, and friend. She grew up in the rural town of Delta, Ohio, where everyone knew her as the girl who lit up any room. Sierah was close to her family, enjoyed spending time with her boyfriend Josh, and was excited about her plans for the upcoming fall semester. Her life was full of potential until it was tragically cut short. Suspect: James Dean Worley, a 57-year-old resident of Delta, Ohio, lived on a secluded property not far from where Sierah was abducted. To the outside world, he appeared unassuming, a quiet man who kept to himself. But Worley had a dark past. In 1990, he was convicted of abduction after attempting to kidnap a woman named Robin Gardner while she was riding her bike. He served 3 years of a 6 to 10-year sentence in an Ohio state prison before being released early for good behavior. Despite his conviction, Worley returned to Fulton County, living just miles from his previous victim. His release left others, including Robin, living in fear that he might strike again. Worley's history of predatory behavior would prove to be a chilling precursor to the events of 2016. On the evening of July 19, 2016, Sierah was riding her bike alongside her boyfriend, Josh Kolasinski, on County Road 6 in Fulton County. After parting ways near her home, Josh noticed Sierah wasn't responding to his messages. Concerned, he retraced their route and found her bike abandoned in a cornfield, with signs of a struggle nearby, scattered items, including her sunglasses and a tire track. The scene was eerily reminiscent of Worley's 1990 abduction attempt. Police quickly cordoned off the area and began a search. Days later, following a lead to James Worley's property, investigators discovered a nightmarish scene. Worley's barn contained what appeared to be a kidnapping kit, restraints, duct tape, zip ties, and a freezer with traces of blood. Cadaver dogs detected the scent of human decomposition on the property. leading investigators to a shallow grave in a nearby cornfield. There, they found Sierah's body, bound and buried. The cause of death was determined to be asphyxiation, and evidence suggested she had been sexually assaulted. The crime scene painted a grim picture of a premeditated and brutal attack. Asterisk. The investigation into Sierah's disappearance moved swiftly. Josh's discovery of her bike and the tire tracks provided an early clue. A tip led police to James Worley, whose property was just a mile from the abduction site. Worley's prior conviction for a similar crime raised immediate red flags. When questioned, Worley claimed he had been at home, but his story was inconsistent, and he appeared nervous. A search of Worley's property revealed damning evidence. Physical evidence. The barn contained restraints, a stun gun, and a freezer with blood traces that matched Sierah's DNA. A hidden room in the barn suggested a space designed for captivity. Forensic evidence. Tire tracks at the abduction sites matched Worley's vehicle. DNA evidence from Sierah's body and items in the barn further linked him to the crime. Behavioral evidence. Worley's history of targeting women on bikes, combined with the similarities to his 1990 crime, painted a clear pattern. Cadaver dogs. The detection of decomposition scent corroborated the presence of Sierah's remains near Worley's property. The combination of physical forensic and behavioral evidence was overwhelming. On July 25, 2016, James Worley was arrested and charged with kidnapping and murder. Asterisk. The twist in this case lies in the chilling realization that James Worley had been a known predator for decades, yet was able to live freely in the same community where he committed his first crime. In 1990, Worley abducted Robin Gardner, but his early release after just 3 years allowed him to return to Delta, Ohio, without significant monitoring. Robin, his first victim, lived in fear of his release, and her worst nightmare came true. When Worley targeted Sierah, the failure of the justice system to impose stricter measures on Worley after his initial conviction is a haunting what if that looms over this case. Had he been monitored or served a longer sentence, could Sierah's life have been spared? Asterisk. In August 2016, James Worley was indicted on 19 counts, including aggravated murder, kidnapping, and sexual assault. His trial began in March 2018 in Fulton County, Ohio. The prosecution presented a mountain of evidence, DNA linking Worley to Sierah, the incriminating items in his barn, and the testimony of Robin Gardner, who recounted her own terrifying encounter with Worley in 1990. Defense argued that the evidence was circumstantial and suggested another perpetrator, but their case was weak against the overwhelming forensic proof. After a highly emotional trial, the jury deliberated for just a few hours before finding Worley guilty on all counts. During the sentencing phase, Sierah's family delivered heart-wrenching victim impact statements, describing the profound loss they endured. The judge sentenced Worley to death, citing the heinous nature of the crime. As of 2025, Worley remains on death row at the Chillicothe Correctional Institution in Ohio, awaiting execution. Asterisk. The tragic case of Sierah Joughin underscores the importance of learning from past mistakes within the justice system. Worley's early release and lack of monitoring after his 1990 conviction allowed a predator to strike again. This case also highlights the critical role of community vigilance and forensic evidence in solving crimes. Sierah's legacy lives on through Sierah's Law, an Ohio bill passed in 2018 that created a violent offender registry to track individuals like Worley. ensuring closer monitoring after release. The moral takeaway is clear. Society must prioritize accountability for violent offenders and support victims. Families in their pursuit of justice and reform. What steps can communities take to better protect vulnerable individuals from repeat offenders? How can we advocate for stronger laws to monitor violent criminals after their release? Have you or someone you know been affected by a similar tragedy? Share your thoughts in the comments to raise awareness. If this deep dive into the Sierah Joughin case moved you or sparked your interest in true crime, don't forget to subscribe for more gripping stories, investigative insights, and updates on cases that matter. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode, and join our community as we explore the complexities of justice and human resilience.